So in the game of choice, you explain how the mind is forced to adapt and grow as a prisoner rather than being free. Can you explain how that happens and the effects that it can have?
We exist under other people's value systems. Like we exist under our parents' value systems, the people of authority in our lives, like our bosses, religious leaders, etc., that have encompassed surrounding of our lives. And then we exist in a bigger box, which is basically the law, right? The state in which we live in and the way things are governed, which we call society. And we evolve through these stages, accepting or not accepting these boxes is the way we exist. Partially, one of the things we don't understand is that boxes are necessary steps for structural growth. Meaning it's much easier if you learn to master a room before you master a city, because you have structure about how small the room is, you can see all sides, you can see how it works, and then you evolve into a larger place and a larger city and a larger state and this and that. Just similar to building a business, you often find a lot of local customers and find good success early on with a niche or a group or a location and then expand from there, right? What happens is eventually you get really comfortable when a room is just big enough for you to be the master of it, but not big enough for you to lose anything out of it. So like this is where comfort becomes a really big disaster in your life, right? You've mastered your space and you like the feeling of power. And so basically you go, if I go bigger, I could lose that power. If I go smaller, I don't make enough. So if I stay here, I'm both in control and I'm pretty happy with the size of my room. And therefore you become a prisoner of your own mind. One of the keys to consciousness that people don't pay attention to is the only way we can break free of a confined value system like a right and wrong or good and bad is to become creative. Because the only way you can become in control of the environment that you wish to create is to become a creator. So entrepreneurship is the ability to unite others around your creation, ultimately learning to create a box that previously didn't exist and learn to operate others in that box. And somehow the larger your box, the larger your impact and the more people fall in that box. Someone would say, well, is that bad or not? Well, my belief has always been that man was never created to worship God. My belief was man was created to be equal to God, to rise as a God. I think that is why we have been given the tool for creativity. That is why we've been given the tool to become creators. So we can create boxes that others can be impacted from. And I think these boxes can certainly be used for control, for manipulation. It can also be used for evolution. And I think that a lot of people mistake the fact that control has a negative connotation to it. A controlled, structured growth also allows a person to grow, and a person to grow until they're strong enough to become creators themselves. We could argue that Elon Musk has a pretty big box, right? He's created this big thing called Tesla, SpaceX, and a lot of people fall in that box. No one is forced to work at Tesla. Everybody may feel forced because they don't have an alternative choice of a job, so they feel they're forced to be in that box. But that isn't the case. They choose to be in it because they don't like the alternative of being outside the box. That doesn't mean that someone does not have or someone is in a bad place because they're in that box. It just means that someone has the opportunity to find massive success by learning how to play the box, evolving past it, and then growing from there. The same way as an employee of that organization can learn everything it needs to learn to structurally grow and get more experience, eventually mastering their box and then becoming or using creativity as a means to creating another box and carrying on to their own company as a creator instead of being a follower. And that is a capacity or a possibility and something that many people often don't pay attention to.